The students that I'm working with are from my reading intervention class for reciprocal teaching, and they have had instruction in each of the 4 parts to reciprocal teaching, including predicting, clarifying, questioning, and summarizing, and they have these cards in front of them to help them remember what each of their jobs are if they forget. They've had instruction in each of them, so prior to getting together with their groups, and then I have also helped facilitate their groups, and they're about to the point where they are able to start doing the reciprocal teaching independently. All right, guys, we're going to start talking about reciprocal teaching today, and we're going to review each of the jobs first before we actually start working on our groups. And remember, there are 4 parts to reciprocal teaching. There's the predictor, the clarifier, the questioner, and the summarizer. We're going to start with the predictor. Can anybody remind us what the predictor's job is? What is the predictor supposed to do? Justin.
You guess what the section's going to be about.
Okay. Okay, are we supposed to wild guess?
No.
So what are we doing? If we're kind of guessing, but we're not going to wild guess. So
you can read the title and
read the title.
What it's going to be about.
And kind of maybe guess what it's going to be about based on the title. Mm-hmm. What else are we going to do? What else can we look at before we make our predictions?
The headings, like the subtitles.
Good. And the pictures, good. The heading, the subtitles, the pictures, those are all great. When do we also predict? Do we predict before we read, after we read?
Before.
During? Before. Okay, and so what do we do after we're done reading?
Okay. Summarize. After you read, summarize.
See if your prediction was correct. Yeah. So the predictor is going to predict before they read. They're going to read the passage, and then they're going to see if their prediction was correct based on what they read. Okay? Good. So the clarifier is the next job. And what is the clarifier's job supposed to do? What are they responsible for? Yes?
They look for words they don't know.
Look for words they don't know. What else?
Statements. Statements?
They look for statements that are what?
Confusing.
They don't understand them. Now, what if you know all of the words in the passage? Then what do you do? Can you speak up for me? What was that?
Look for words that you think that somebody else may know.
Look for words that you think somebody else may not know. That's excellent. Okay, so now we have our words that we don't know, our ideas we don't know. What do we do in order to find out what these words mean? Look in the back of the book, and what's in the back of the book? The glossary and the definition. What else can we do? What if it's not a bold word?
Look around in the sentence.
Look around in the sentence. Excellent. And if all else fails, what do? If you can't figure it out from the sentence, ask the teacher, ask an expert. Good. Okay, so the next job is the questioner. What is the questioner's job supposed to be? Sierra? Have you elbow?
Yeah.
Do you know what the questioner's job is supposed to be?
Ask questions about the main ideas.
Ask questions about the main ideas. Great. Okay. What kinds of questions are we going to use? What is the question going to start with? What words does the question start with?
Who, what, where, when, why, or how?
Who, what, when, or why, or how. Okay, remember, what kinds of questions are we looking for? Are we looking for, yes, Nick?
Main idea.
Main idea questions, okay. But are we looking for high-calorie questions or low-calorie questions? High-calorie questions. We want to have fat questions that get at good, deep meaning things. And we can have really good, deep meaning words when we have who, what, when, or why questions. Right? Good. Okay. Finally, the summarizer. What is the job of the summarizer? Harmony.
When you finish reading, to say what the whole section you just read was about.
Okay, when you finish reading, say what the sentence, in a sentence, what the section was about. Okay, and what if you're having a hard time figuring out what to say? What can we use to help us with the summaries?
The summary frames.
Summary frames. Good. Okay, so these 5 summary frames that we have up here. And what is the one that we use the most often so far in our informational text that we've used most often? Number 5.
Begins with and ends with.
Yes, begins with, continues with, and ends with. That's the one that we've been using most. So those are up there if you need them, if you're struggling during your summarization. Now, is summarization restating, are you picking out words from the text during your summary?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. But are you reading things again for your summary?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Okay, if you forget, yeah, you're going to reread. But then when you're actually saying your summary, are you going to say things directly that the book says?
No, we're going to take pieces.
Okay, you're going to take pieces, keep it short, and get to the point and put it in your own words. Okay, we want to use our own words for that. Remember, you can substitute words for other words so that you don't read a whole long list of things in the book. You can always substitute your words. Good. Are there any questions?
No.
Okay, so your cue cards are on your tables if you need to use them during our reciprocal teaching, and those will help you remember what you're supposed to be doing. So we have our predictor is Bianca, and she is going to predict first before you start reading.
I think it's going to be about like traditional snacks and sweets that they eat.
You say
Mexicans.
okay.
Okay. Mexicans love snacks and sweets. Wherever a person goes in Mexico, there are restaurants and street vendors tempting passers-by with delicious treats on beaches and in cities, parks, plazas, markets, schoolyards, and grandmothers' kitchens. The air is full of enticing aromas that Mexicans find hard to resist.
Okay. So what do we need to do next?
Clarify.
Not quite. We forgot to do one thing. You got to see what Bianca's job isn't finished yet. So what do we need to do first?
See if our prediction was right.
See if her prediction was right. So she said it's going to be about traditional sweets and snacks that Mexicans eat. Was that what it was about?
Mm-hmm.
Does it talk about sweets in there?
No,
it talks about tacos. So part of it's right? Because tacos can be a snack. Good.
What is a taqueria?
What is a taqueria?
Hold on, it's in the back of the book.
It is bold words. It's in the back of the book.
It says a place where tacos are made.
Okay. Place where tacos are made. Now let's go back to the text on page 31 by the word. Is that what they talk about it in there? A place where tacos are made? Is that what it says?
Yeah. It's
What
like,
is it?
every neighborhood in Mexico has at least one
Taqueria. So every neighborhood has at least one place where they make tacos.
Yes.
Okay, so that means there's a lot of them, right? Yeah. Okay, are there any other words or phrases in there that you think people might have struggled with?
They're plant. Oh, I had to clarify that.
Okay. There aren't any more bold words. But if you remember in that first paragraph, the introduction paragraph, there's a couple of words in there that...
And what does enticing mean?
Good. What does enticing mean? Bianca stumbled over that word a little bit, so it's kind of an unfamiliar word. So what does enticing mean?
We could in the cities, park plaza markets, schoolyards, and grandma kitchens. The air is
Smell. A strong smell.
Okay, strong smell. Good. You replace the word strong with for enticing. So enticing aromas, strong aromas. Is it a good aroma or a bad aroma?
Good.
Probably good, because they're talking about how Mexicans find that hard to resist, and you're not going to resist a bad smell, are you? Yeah, so good. So it's a strong smell that Mexicans find, strong, good smell. We can replace with enticing. Good. All right. Whose job is it next? Questioners. Tyler, why don't you go first?
What are Mexicans' favorite snacks?
Tacos.
Okay, was that a high-calorie or a low-calorie question?
Low calorie.
Okay, and so if we used our QAR, what kind of question was that? Is that a right there? That was a right there, because it was right in the middle of the book. Good. Okay, so let's see if we can come up with a high-calorie question, Justin.
How are tacos made?
Good. How are tacos made?
What page was on? The first page?
Yeah.
They're hard, good
Grilled
tortillas and wrapped
around
around 100 different
different
fillings,
fillings,
spiced with salsa and garnished with onions, chilies, and lime.
Okay, and they say one more thing about tacos and how they're made. What is one specific difference between the tacos we're used to and the tacos that Mexicans eat?
They're soft tacos.
Soft tacos, good. So that was a think and share or a think and search question because you can find it in two different places. Good. Okay, so that was a higher calorie question, which is what we're looking for. And finally, summarizer.
Okay, it started talking about Or like you can like find tacos and stuff in Mexico.
Okay.
He starts telling them how they cook them and stuff.
How they cook them and stuff.
How they cook them and what they cook them on and stuff like that.
Okay. Is there anything else they talk about in there? So how to find them, how to cook them, but there's one more thing that they talk about in there on what to do with the tacos. And that related to Justin's question.
Good.
What was that big list of stuff that you guys read off when you were answering Justin's question? The ingredients. Good. So can we put that in our last summary frame that begins with, continues with, and ends with? Can you put that in there?
It begins with talking about like where can you find tacos at. Then it continues to talk about the ingredients that goes with the tacos, and it ends with things where you can like. I guess it ends with talking about where you can find different places or like the people that eat tacos. I guess.
Okay. And you also mentioned that it also talks about how it ends with how they cook the tacos, so you could end it with that. Good. All right, guys, now that you've done the reciprocal teaching with me facilitating the groups, we're going to have this on your own. You're going to try to do this independently because you all are familiar with the jobs. And I know that you guys can do this by yourselves, so I will only step in when you need help. Okay? Go ahead, Alicia.
I predict this is going to be about snacks for busy people. Tacos are a perfect snack for busy people. There is no need for utensils. This may be why Aztec peasants. My prediction was wrong.
I didn't know some words, so I hope that you guys can help me with them. The first one was utensils. Does anybody know what those are?
Yeah, those are like forks, knives, and spoons and stuff to eat with.
Oh, okay. And the other one was pheasants. Peasants.
Peasants, like lower class.
Yeah. My question was, why didn't they use utensils?
Because tacos are easy to eat.
Yeah, you can use it with your hands. It'll be easier.
Yeah, and the summary was about how people use tacos, and sometimes back in the day, like they use grasshoppers and stuff, and that's basically it.
Okay, guys, we started Chapter 3 today, the snacks and sweets. Talked a little bit about some of the snacks that Mexicans eat every day, specifically about tacos, how they make them, what the ingredients are, and why they're so popular, and the fact that Mexicans have busy lives and they don't use utensils and they can just eat and go. Tomorrow we are going to continue on, and we're going to get to the sweet part of the snacks and start talking about chocolate and flan, some desserts, and then we will start talking about festivals and things that are in Mexico. You guys did a great job. I'm glad that you guys came up with some really good, deep, high-calorie questions, and we're going to continue with reciprocal teaching and practicing that and getting some more independence without me helping you as much. Okay? By using reciprocal teaching in my classes, I've noticed that the students are becoming more self-regulating with their reading. They're starting to internalize their reading and starting to own the text more as they're reading and becoming deeper thinkers about their reading.